You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning. A couple of good studies that I want to talk to you about this morning. One is on triglycerides and the other one is on testosterone, okay? So I think you will find these interesting, so good. Two interesting studies we'll talk about this morning. One is triglycerides. I always talk about triglycerides. Okay, so study came out in the last week or so. Let me just read the study. Okay, so excessive blood lipids causes organ damage, okay? Excessive blood lipids. Lipids is fat, okay? Listen to what it's saying. Excessive blood lipids causes organ damage. Organ damage, okay? This is a study that was done. Now, what are blood lipids, okay? Blood lipids. Triglycerides. 3 right? Glycerides. 3 sugars make up a fat ball, okay? And so all I'm saying is, look at the study says. If you have high triglycerides, it damages your organs. Well, this is a study, but it's not anything really new. It's just that it never gets a lot of press. It never gets a lot of ink because the medical world still today, to be negative, but still today, it's changing, but very, very slowly. The medical world and the food world, so the pharmaceutical world and the big pharma, okay, big pharma and big food, okay, they have this thinking that you can't get them to change their minds, okay? And that is, cholesterol is the boogeyman. Now, I know I talk about this all the time, but I want to just do a little teaching this morning on triglycerides again, just how important they are, okay? So triglycerides, 3 triglycerides, sugars, okay? 3 sugars make up a fat ball in your blood. And when you have fat balls in your blood, they are going to create inflammation in your body, okay? And remember, let me just talk about inflammation just for a second. I know it's repeat, but that's the way I learn, and hopefully it's the way you learn, okay? So inflammation, remember, is not Houdini. It just doesn't come out of nowhere. You get inflammation if you have an infection. You understand that. You ever get a sinus headache? You ever get, a cold? A little virus that will put you in bed? What makes it so you feel so rotten? Well, it's inflammation because your body is fighting an infection. The ambulance system is out in your blood and it's trying to, it's bringing extra blood cells and extra protein and extra T cells in order to fight the infection. And you're down and out, okay? But your body's immune system works that way. Fabulous. It's temporary. As soon as you kill the bug, you get better, right? But there's another kind of inflammation. It's silent oftentimes. I talked about this last week. The only sign of inflammation, if you have an inflammation marker in your body that's elevated, silent a lot of times, and for a lot of people, the only symptom they have of that is they're fatigued, they're tired, and their body's got an inflammation inside of it. Why is that? Oftentimes, it's not due to infection, it's not due to injury, right? You didn't just fall on your back or something and you got inflammation. No, it's caused by excessive blood lipids, triglycerides. And over a period of time, that will damage your organs. Okay? And this is why at the Martin Clinic, I'm constantly talking to you about lowering your inflammation by lowering your triglycerides. And how do you do that? How do you make triglycerides? Okay? You make triglycerides when you eat crappy carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, look, sugar, guys, cannot stay in your bloodstream. It can't. Why? Because it's dangerous. Sugar is toxic. Sugar is poison to your bloodstream. So you think, oh God, if I just have a little bit of sugar, not hurtful, well, okay, I understand that. But just understand what I'm saying. Sugar cannot stay in your bloodstream. Anybody in their first year of medical school or biology understands that. Why is that? Because your sugar is so destructive. And you have an organ in your body called your pancreas that secretes insulin. And insulin's job, it's a storage hormone. You, sugar, it says you, come here. I used to do that with my kids. Hey, you, come here. I want to talk to you. We're going to have a conversation. They knew they were in trouble. But insulin goes, sugar, come here. You can't stay there. You are dangerous to blood vessels. That's why diabetics have so much trouble with their eyes, so much trouble with circulation, so much trouble with their kidneys, so much trouble with their legs, so much trouble with their heart. Why? Their sugars are not controlled. And insulin doesn't work like it used to. And that's diabetes, guys. Okay, let me, I don't want to get too sidetracked. So what insulin does, it's a storage hormone. It stores the sugar that you ate. And if you eat a piece of bread, oh, Dr. Martin, it's whole wheat. I don't care. It's going to be sugar in 5 seconds. Pasta, rice, cereals, all your cereals. Oh, doc, I gotta have my oatmeal. No, you don't. Anyway, that turns to sugar rapidly, and then it has to be stored primarily in your liver, your muscles. But if you don't have a lot of muscles, you don't have a lot of storage area for stored sugar, which is going to be fat. And thirdly, your body will make fat cells, as many as it needs to store your sugars. And when the suitcase is full, the Costco parking lot is full, your body will turn that glycogen stored sugars into fat and then into your bloodstream when the liver gets full. You know what it's called? Triglycerides. Yeah. And what science has always told us, that's the way I was trained. Cholesterol was never dangerous in the 1970s. We didn't talk about cholesterol. There was no cholesterol lowering medication because nobody cared about cholesterol. Everybody cared about triglycerides. And then the big pharma and the food industry, it started with the cereal companies, right? Don't eat bacon and eggs, eat our cereal. So what did they do? They completely hoodwinked scientists. And they said, well, you know what? We got to get rid of cholesterol. Cholesterol's no good for you. And say it, repeat. That's how marketing works, guys. You don't have to be in marketing long to just say it and say it and say it. The climate. I know I'm going to get into trouble. I know I'm going to offend some, especially the young generation. The climate, it's changing. I don't know. Like, I live in Sudbury. Yeah. When I come to Florida, no, the climate's not changing. It's warm in Florida and cold in Sudbury. Okay? You want to know where Sudbury is? Santa Claus lives right here, and we just live right here. That's Sudbury. Okay? Come on, guys. Think about this for a minute. We've been hoodwinked. Don't eat bacon and eggs. Eat our cereal. What's worse for you? Cereal. But if you do a survey, I'm not kidding you, do a survey in your hometown. Ask them, what's dangerous for you? Cholesterol? Yeah. They'll put their hand up and say, yeah, it's cholesterol. I've got to keep my cholesterol down. Every day I still get asked, Doc, look at my blood work. I want to know, my doctor said my cholesterol's too high. And I go, I don't care what your doctor said. Look, guys, I'm not telling you not to go to your doctor. I'm just telling you what the truth is. The truth is the dangerous fat, lipids, is triglycerides. That's what this study is saying. The dangerous lipid is when you have high levels of triglyceride, your liver is full. It gets non-alcoholic fatty liver. It damages your kidneys. It damages your brain. It damages your heart. It damages. Triglycerides create inflammation, and inflammation damages your blood vessels and your organs. That is a fact. So what do? Think about this for a minute. Okay, Doc, what do I do? Well, get your triglycerides down by changing your diet. Fat doesn't make you fat. Fat doesn't give you triglycerides. Sugars do. Carbs do. It's science, guys. You guys got to admit one thing. I've been consistent teaching this, right? You know, I said, well, Doc, you changed your mind. And I'll change my mind if you can prove it to me. Look, science is always, look, what I know about nutrition in the year 2020, I can hardly believe we're in 2020. When you're my age, you've got 2020. Are you kidding me? When I was a kid, the year 2000 seemed like, when I'm going to be old in 2000. Now I look back to the year 2000 go, geez, I was pretty young. But you know, it's all in perspective, right? Like the world just changes. Like, are you kidding me? But here we are, guys. Here we are in 2020. Here we are in 2020. And they're still talking about cholesterol. The number one selling medication of all time, guys, listen to this. The number one selling medication of all time was a drug. It's Wayne Gretzky. It's Mario Lemieux of hockey. The number one selling drug of all time is a drug called Lipitor to lower cholesterol. Number one seller of all time. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. But I've always screamed against that. It used to drive me crazy, and it still does. Because it's looking for love in all the wrong places. It's not cholesterol. As a matter of fact, I could show you hundreds of studies, literally, that show the higher your cholesterol is, the longer you live. How do you like that? The higher your cholesterol is, the longer you live. Hello? You don't want to have low cholesterol, guys. Oh, you know, you see the advertising down in the States here. You know, I got my cholesterol down. You know, giving everybody high fives. I got my cholesterol down. What did you want to do that for? Your brain is made up of cholesterol. Your cells are made up of cholesterol. Ladies, you can't make hormones. The second study I'm going to do, maybe I will and maybe I won't. I might not get to it because I'm pontificating on this study. And when I start pontificating, you know me. I can't help myself because it's the only way, you know, for some of you, therapy is what, right? Meditation or prayer or whatever. You know what my therapy is? Talking. Because when I get frustrated, I have to talk. So for me, what I'm doing is I'm talking this morning in order to get my cortisol down, to get my stress levels down. Guys, there's only one thing I really can't stand, and that is if someone lies to me. I can't stand that, okay? I don't like it. I don't like when somebody lies to me. I don't like that. I guess you don't probably either, but I don't like to be lied to. okay? So in my little brain here, when I hear stuff like this study that came out last week, nobody, as far as I know, because I'm really, really conscious of the mainstream media, okay? In their health sections, from the CBC to the CTV to NBC News to whatever news. I always look to see what they're talking about in health, okay? And every day they come out with some headlines on health. But this one here, because it doesn't fit their narrative, I saw this study. It was a very huge study done looking at people's blood lipid levels, their triglyceride levels, and to see how dangerous it was. And you know what, guys? I never saw any news service pick this study up. Not one. I didn't see it. Does it surprise me? No, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Listen, on TV and on these big news, these broadcast news or whatever, look, they get sponsors. They get sponsored by the cereal companies and big pharma. Well, they want their money. So, you know what? Sometimes you won't even hear this stuff. And this is why our podcast and doing the videos, and I want to just tell you these studies. It's incredible. Now, there's a second part to this equation, okay? So if your blood lipids, your triglycerides or blood lipids, are too high. Now, cholesterol is a blood lipid too, but let me explain what I'm going to say here in a minute. It's repetition, but I'm going to say it too. When your triglycerides are high, and look, if you have blood work and you want me to look at it, I'm happy to do it. Just send it to me via email or whatever. I'll look and I'll tell you. But don't ask me to comment on your LDL. I won't do it. Okay? Because people, what about my LDL, doc? Low density lipoprotein. No, I don't care. It doesn't mean nothing to me. It doesn't mean nothing to you. That was made up by the pharmaceutical industry to sell Lipitor and Crestor and Zocor. And so when you get, your non-HDL, LDL combined cholesterol marker, it's 5 point something. I don't care about that. I don't. It doesn't mean anything. Now that might bother you, but what do you want me to say? I don't look at that stuff. I want to know two numbers when you show me your blood lipids. Two. I only want to see two. One of them is called triglycerides, TG, and that should be, well, ladies, try and get it under 1. Men, 1.71, but I want it lower than that. Okay? But 1.71 is normal, but I like it to be lower than normal. Okay? Your triglycerides. So ladies, you need to have lower triglycerides than your hubby or the man in your life. Okay? He can have a little bit higher triglycerides than you, but you want them to be low. And if you can get them under 1, you're going to do really well. Okay? Now, what's the second part of that? Teaching, écoutez, listen. It is your HDL, your high density lipoprotein. What is that? It's a carrier. It's FedEx. It is Canada Post. It is the US Postal Service going through your bloodstream, HDL. Okay? Why do you want to have HDL? That's good cholesterol. Okay? Bad cholesterol isn't really LDL. Bad fats are triglycerides. Get them down.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.